Here to discuss this is Lisa Schiffren, a senior fellow at the Independent Women's Forum and former speechwriter for George H.W. Bush and friend of the program, Brandon Webb, former Navy SEAL, editor-in-chief at Sofret.com, and author of Benghazi, The Definitive Report. I'm going to go to you, Brandon, first. Okay, so Hillary says it doesn't really matter what prompted this. Your best friend died in this. I don't mean to draw you out emotionally, but does it matter to you why this happened?
Yeah, you know, it's just ironic to hear her say that. I mean, how can you prevent and learn from something without understanding what caused this event? So it's very important as to why this happened, and yeah, it's disappointing to hear her say what she's said during the hearings. I mean, the fact that she's trying to take accountability, it took her almost a month after the attack to finally admit publicly that she was responsible, and to say that she didn't hear these requests for increased security is just, you know, it's crazy. The fact that it would be like the captain of the Exxon Valdez saying, hey, my first mate didn't wake me up when the ship went aground. I mean, ultimately, it's her responsibility. She needs to own up to it, and it's disappointing. You know, there's really no hard questions, like you said, asked in that hearing, and that was a big motivating factor behind me and Jack Murphy and the rest of the editors at SOFREP, why we wanted to come out with this book and really provide an unbiased perspective on exactly what happened that day.
Do you feel like Joe Biden's already editing his commercials for Iowa with some of these answers? Because it seems like she's in a pickle here. Bill Clinton said this is the only man you can vote for. The Clintons really, it was sort of keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. As soon as Obama got a debacle to throw Hillary under the bus for, he did. He put her right out front and center. Now she's seen as to blame. If she leaves the administration and says, all right, let me tell you the truth, then it makes her husband's support of Obama look fake. It makes her support of Obama fake. And Obama's Mr. Cool, who just got reelected and had all the celebrities at the White House. So she really just has to just eat the crow, doesn't she?
You know, maybe. Hillary has a long career of pulling fabulous consequences out of lying for the men in her life, whether it's her husband or the president.
She's been there before, yeah.
She's been there, and she has really made it, you know, she's made it into gold, so who knows what she will do with this. You know, I just want to say about the last question. She was answering, the question she was answering that Senator Johnson actually had asked her was what happened in terms of why the administration had misled the public. That was the phrase he used. You misled the public. You told us a story about the video. At which point she went into this, you know, this spasm. She got hysterical. So this is one of two things. Either she's covering and trying to change the direction of the questioning, which is entirely possible, or it was the bad old Hillary, the Hillary of our youth, who used to throw lamps at Secret Servicemen and get hysterical when people questioned her authority. She, you know, she knew, everybody knew that that the video had nothing to do with anything. And now, the minute a U.S. Senator, something she used to be, brings this up, she feels that it's a good idea to yell and scream and be hysterical and say this absolutely incoherent thing. What difference does it make why they died? We're here to find out why they died. Well, you can only get away with saying something that crazy if you're a shrieking woman who nobody is going to actually stop and say, excuse me, ma'am, that makes no sense. Which is it?
I'm not going to take the sexist line on that, just for the record here. Brandon, so I don't want to give away the e-book. These fighters are not like gang members here in the United States taking over turf and holding it. These are guys that go from place to place. And every time we drop weapons in for a couple of rebels, turns out some of these guys seem to pick that stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, North Africa has become a hotbed of Islamic extremism, and the situation is very complicated, and even more disappointing that I'm finding that John Kerry is potentially going to be the next Secretary of State. You know, the guy has no respect from any men or women in uniform that I know, and that's a big problem when you're running that organization, and you need the the buy-in and support of the Department of Defense. So we're in for a rocky road in North Africa in the future.
Real short. Do you think John Kerry is going to step in and make everything better, or you think he's another one that's going to be?
I think he's another one who wants to be president. But I think the real point here is that North Africa is the mess that it is because of policy that was very much Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and especially Hillary Clinton, pushing for the overthrow of people like Muammar Gaddafi, a disaster, but not nearly as much of a disaster as the people we've empowered and armed. Yes, and Mubarak, the Arab Spring.
Let's see if we could break it, then fix it. Turns out they're good at breaking it, not so good at fixing it. Lisa, Brandon, thank you.